Hi, and welcome to the MusicBox Chatters podcast with me, Tioni, hosting the show. So, this month we'll be diving into the topic of generalized anxiety disorder. So, if you're new here, well, hi, myself and the girls are running our own company called Toybox, which is all about educating and breaking the stigmas on mental health and well-being. And as psychologists ourselves, we're quite passionate about these topics. So we came up with the idea of creating our own podcast on the side, and each month we'll be basically talking about a new mental health topic. So definitely go check out our Instagram at toybox_mh to stay up to date. So, generalized anxiety disorder is actually short for GAD and is also known as chronic anxiety neurosis in a more fancy term. So, anxiety is often described as a feeling of unease, worry, or fear that can range from a mild to very severe feeling. And anxiety is quite common, and most people do experience it on some level when they're having a stressful time in their lives. For example, maybe you're sitting an exam, or you're going to a job interview, or you've got a medical test. So it's quite common. And GAD is actually much more than normal worry or anxiety, and there are a number of key differences between experiencing GAD and the type of anxiety people actually experience from their day to day. So, GAD is actually characterized by chronic worry for more than 6 months periods in which you feel anxious in a wide range of situations. And if you have GAD, you are more likely to feel anxious a lot of the time, and this may feel really out of control for you. And if you're suffering from that, you may not always be clear about what the cause of the anxiety is. Another thing is that you may feel on edge and more alert about your surroundings. And this one's quite interesting. Often, when you resolved one anxious thought, it might quickly be replaced with another issue if you're experiencing GAD. So to go into more detail, GAD can cause both physical and emotional symptoms, and people may find that their feeling patterns and behaviors change. And when someone has anxiety, they often notice changes to their thoughts and also their behavior. So now you're probably wondering what sort of treatments are out there to sort of maintain and reduce these sort of feelings. So the symptoms associated with GAD can be very uncomfortable and unpleasant, and you might try to find ways to sort of reduce it yourself. However, this might result in you avoiding the situation that causes you to feel worried. And it is common for people with GAD to withdraw from socializing or only doing things in a certain way in order to feel safe. For example, you might withdraw from hanging out with your family and friends, or you might find work to be very stressful. So unfortunately, this may reduce anxiety in the long term, and these actions can make you worry even more. And also, this can lead to low self-esteem and loss of regular ways of coping, which can have a really negative effect on your emotional well-being in the long term. So, for example, sometimes it might be helpful to take some time off work. However, this is not a long-term solution, and you might find it more difficult to go to work after a long period of time. So the most useful thing that you can do is talk to someone, talk to a specialist like a general practitioner who have experience dealing with these situations, and they can give you some diagnosis, and they will be able to provide you with some more information about the various treatments and options that are available that you can actually take on forward. And it's quite important to think about the pros and the cons of each of these treatments, because some might not be appropriate for you. So it's definitely important to do some research before going into that. So Chloe and Diva did a live IG chat recently, and they spoke about the use of recreational drugs to cope with anxiety. So here's a small snippet to listen to their chat earlier last week. And if you enjoyed that, stay tuned for more of these debate-style chats on our Instagram at toybox_mh.
Go on our topic of marijuana and anxiety and what our stance on it is, what research has said, and what everything has been talked about, basically. Because this is a really debated topic, a really controversial topic for a lot of people and a lot of research areas. So let's just dive into it for a little bit. So let me just ask you, Chloe, first, what is your stance, your personal stance, on your personal opinion on marijuana and anxiety, and whether you should take it or not, stuff like that? Marijuana both medicinal and recreational.
Well, I've done a little bit of reading of this, like, while it's good for short-term use, like it's good to like short-term wise, it does help with anxiety. But
Mm-hmm.
then in long-term wise, it does sometimes it causes more anxiety than it did
Mm-hmm.
before.
Yeah.
So I'm like a bit on the fence about it. Like for
Mm-hmm.
some people, it might work really well, like with all
Mm-hmm.
unconventional therapies and even normal therapies. And so I guess it's person to person, I guess.
Yeah. I think my stance, because I've actually done a research paper on this for my master's, and I think for my master's, yeah. But my stance was that I don't agree with it. I don't agree
Mm,
with I don't agree with both recreational use and medicinal use of marijuana for anxiety, only because there isn't enough research to back it up. Firstly,
yeah,
like
that's
there isn't enough good research to back it up. Like, and most research who have done extensive like research and actually use like human, well, not well, ethically used human participants actually showed that marijuana had a very negative effect on anxiety. Yes, you're right. Like in short term, it does help anxiety in some ways, but long term wise, like people actually had higher depression, like.
So I thought it would be interesting to read one myth and one fact about GAD. So diving into the myth, the idea that anxiety will just pass is actually not true. Anxiety does not usually resolve itself by time if it's not actually dealt with. And the stresses of anxiety can affect your everyday life and your routines and the activities that you do. And an interesting fact that I should mention is that stress should be confronted. Now, it may seem daunting and it would make sense if you start to avoid the stress at the time, but confronting stress and the phobias could be a healing process for many people, and facing the fears and anxiety can sometimes lead to great opportunities towards growth, as well as discovery of appropriate support from loved ones and even professionals. So, on a lighter note, we decided to make a playlist with tunes around mental health, and we'll be adding onto the playlist each month. So, definitely go and check that out. There will be songs like Lovely by Billie Eilish, Khalid, to OK by Mabel. So the tune Lovely by Billie Eilish and Khalid. Oh my god, this song is honestly one of my favorite tunes. So just delving more into the background of the song, according to Billie Eilish herself, Lovely is actually about searching for something better. So she also claims that the title of the song was meant to be like a saddest song. And I honestly believe that Lovely is about one struggle with anxiety and depression and wanting to find a way out basically. And they talk about wanting to fight their demons that are basically terrorizing them, but it's also about the human tendency to get addicted to one's own sadness and caving into one's darkness emotions basically. And yeah, the lyric says, thoughts I found a way out, but you never go away, could basically represent the idea that anxiety really never goes away. And I want to feel alive outside. I can't find my fear could mean that they want to be able to go out and live a normal and free life, but instead they are feeling like they are constantly being trapped in a cage, kind of thing. So, yeah, I honestly love this song and big representation of how a lot of people feel actually when they feel anxious or depressed in a way. So let's dive into the other song that I picked out. So this one is actually called OK by Mabel. Lovely artist. Love to meet her one day in person. But yeah, I honestly really love the concept of this song. Just accepting the fact that you might not be okay 24/7 and that is normal and that's okay, and that the fact that we have to take care of ourselves and always remember to do some self-care. So it's also essential for our mental health, mentally and physically, honestly. And yeah, this song is just all about taking care of yourselves and your bodies really. And that is it for me. Thank you so much for tuning in. Feel free to reach out to us if you're struggling or know anyone who is, and we'll be very happy to signpost you to suitable help, of course. But yeah, anyways, just thank you so much for listening in, and we'll definitely be back with a new topic. And in the meantime, just go follow us at toybox_mh for the latest.